Hey friends, it's been a while since I've made a video and I wanted to catch up with you all. I have been at my aunts and uncles for a little bit, just resetting, and they have a farm, and you probably hear the chickens and the wind, and it actually was raining earlier. But I wanted to talk today about how, kind of give you a status update of where my life is right now. If you're new to my channel, my name is Isha Navaz, and this is Momentarily Speaking, where I speak about my health journey, specifically with GLP-1. And I am no longer on a GLP-1. I have been off the GLP-1 for a little bit over a month, and it's been definitely something that I wanted to share with you as far as how it's going. But I want to give you a little background first on how I got here. Being on a GLP-1 allowed me to take a look at my metabolic health. And unbeknownst to me, even though I was a very energetic person, I was overweight. That part I did know, but the metabolic factor of my health, I did not know. And I learned that I was pre-diabetic, and that kind of like really changed my view on where do I go from here. And the GLP-1 helped me to lose weight, but I was, at the same time that I was taking a GLP-1, I was also focusing on learning about metabolic health, learning about cholesterol, learning about high blood pressure, pre-diabetes, and all those things. And I'm also in perimenopause. So while I'm researching and while I'm taking the medication, I was able to learn that there are a couple of factors that has to be in the front end of a personal weight loss journey. Number one is being realistic about where you're at, knowing your baseline. And really, knowing your baseline means you got to really know your numbers. Where are you at in the factors of health? How is your, how is your glucose? How is your body? How is your body reacting to the food intake that you're taking in, with or without medication? And that was very opening for me, because in my family, we suffer from dementia, heart disease, high blood pressure. And so I really needed to take a look at my health in a deeper way. Oh, it's starting to rain. Oh my God. Okay, I'm under a tree. Maybe this will help. But starting to look at your baseline, starting to understand, okay, what do my numbers look like? And then I discovered information on visceral fat. I had no idea what visceral fat was. Visceral fat is the fat that actually accumulates around your organs because it does not know where to go, meaning you are insulin resistant, and so your body has to make room for the glucose, evolution that's happening in your body, and it creates fat around your organs. And so I got a CAT scan, found out that I have 3 point something pounds of excuse me, visceral fat. And I started, changing my diet to whole foods. So I changed my diet to whole food products mainly, meat, fruits, vegetables, high fiber, high protein, and reducing carbs and sugars, added sugars of any kind. And that really did a number, and I made some videos on, what it did to my entire body, like how it changed my entire just numbers. My lipid panel changed completely. And so that kind of created this curiosity in my head that maybe it's more than the GLP-1 medication. Maybe I needed to concentrate on knowing what to fuel my body. And so this GLP-1 journey turned into, how am I fueling my body? How am I, you know, taking into account that what I put in is, there is a response that happens inside my body with what I put in. Now, I know that there are people that are taking the GLP-1 medication and they'll eat whatever and they still lose weight. I found out very early in my journey that that's not the case for me. I am a slow responder, and as we speak, I started at 199.5, and as we speak, I'm at 165, and I've lost weight on a GLP-1, but I realized that my weight loss may not be the same as others, and that's fine. I'm not gonna go into that. It's just the way my body is. But what I have found more interesting about this weight loss journey is the fact that it's more than the number on the scale. It's never been about the scale. It will never be about the number on the scale. It's going to be about, okay, every 3 months being proactive and doing what I need to do to find out, okay, how's my glucose? How's my AC1 levels? You know, how is my cholesterol? And there's more to cholesterol than just the cholesterol number. I found out about the triglyceride HDL ratio and how that determines, you know, how well your body is actually working for you in the sense of eliminating plaque buildup within your arteries, and that is what causes heart disease. It's really the buildup. And what creates triglycerides to increase is actually sugar. So bottom line is, sugar was the main thing, the main factor that was taking me down. Sugar is the enemy for me. And so this is a very sentimental thing for me because, you know, for a very long time, I saw family members, loved ones, pass on and struggle with weight. And in reality, you're not struggling with weight. It's not the number on the scale. You're struggling with how your body processes sugar within your metabolic system. And once I figured that out, it's so hard for me to just say, oh, I'm gonna eat whatever I want on a GLP-1. And then I have a friend of mine, she's she quit her GLP-1, and she was talking about how she did it, and I really was afraid to quit my GLP-1 because, you know, everybody is always talking about, you're gonna gain it back, you're gonna gain it back. Well, I have to say, your body is going to react first, right? It's gonna say, hey, you've been using the GLP-1 to regulate me, and so it's gonna have some type of effect if you stop the medication. However, if you know what you need to do to reset it back through your food intake and how you are dealing with, you know, the food that you're putting in, it goes back. Your body remembers and it goes back. It's just a little stubborn. One of the things that I found out is, like, a little trick that I have is that, you know, I make it a point now to have whole foods, right? I'm here in Puerto Rico with my family, and, you know, they have a lot of pasteles, rice, and, you know, and all those things. And there's nothing wrong with having those things. And frituras, we call it frituras, which is like, you know, empanadas and things like that. And when I came, I was like, okay, I'm going to have, you know, let's say I have, you know, 2 alcapurrias like I did yesterday. So I had 2 alcapurrias. I also had a protein forward breakfast yesterday. Well, by the time dinner came, I chose not to eat dinner because, first of all, I wasn't hungry. And then second of all, I had 2 big ass alcapurrias that, you know, were enough for my body. Now, that's something that I have been practicing for a while now. ever since, after 6 months of taking the GLP-1, I literally started being proactive on my metabolic health and how my metabolic health works for me. And so that's changed everything. Another trick that I do is, okay, let's say I have a pasta day, right? I'm having pasta, and I also want a tiramisu that day. Well, that's carbs and sugars, carbs and added sugars in one day, right? So what I do is, for dinner, I have just a can of sardines with lemon on top of it. It's raining again. With lemon on top of it, and then that actually creates a metabolic reaction, and it helps my body kind of resets itself, and rather than keeping the sugar inside my body, the sardines do this magical thing. Like, it just, the next day I'm like, I'll take my blood, and I'll take, my blood pressure, and the numbers look good. That's how I proactively do it. I'm not saying that that's what other people should be doing, but I'm saying that what the medication itself, GLP-1, has taught me is that you are responsible for what you put in. And with the medication or without the medication, you have to understand what you are doing every single time that you're putting food in your body. And overprocessed foods is our enemy. Sugar is our enemy. That does not mean that you can't ever have sugar. That's not what that means. But what it does mean is that once you know how your body reacts to sugar, you can better assess and analyze, okay, what am I going to do next? What's my best next step? So that's something that I've really realized, is that I have had to find and talk to myself and say, what is my best next step? So yeah, I don't drink alcohol, but if you drink alcohol, what's your next best step to make sure that your metabolic health is intact? Because what happens is, let's say you lose your insurance, you lose your insurance, or you no longer have access to the GLP-1. When you have certain habits already set in place and certain understanding about what this is all about, what food does to your body, and how you can change the outcome of the day. It's not about a week. That's another thing I've learned. I don't live for a week long of, oh, what am I eating? No, I live for the day. What did I eat today? What did I eat just a couple 2 hours ago? How did it affect my metabolic health? And how can I best move forward for the rest of the day? When you take those steps to be proactive with the food intake, then it's much easier for you to make decisions that are best for your weight loss. But you're not fighting against that number on the scale. You're literally fighting against how your body processes glucose. It's about going from insulin resistance to being insulin sensitive. And once you get that and you start practicing that, it makes all the difference. And I wanted to share that with you because another subject that most people talk about is exercise. And I'm a big proponent of walking as much as you can. Let's just put it that way. I'm not going to put steps, but as much as you can. And I'm a big proponent in strength training. But some of us may not have the body to be able to walk, may not have the body to be able to strength training. But there's simple things that you can do, that you can start with, that can get it going for you. A couple of things that I've been doing myself on, like, for instance, I came over here. Of course, I don't have my gym with me. What do? I've been doing squats. I've been doing walking. I have been walking around the garden, the finca here, the farm. I've been enjoying all the beauty of nature, and that in itself does something to you. It really does. You don't need to be at the gym. You don't need to make it hard, but you can start today with just doing simple things that are going to help you get started. And once you start doing it, you won't go back because you'll start falling in love with taking care of yourself. And that's one thing, you guys, that I want to leave you with. You can take care of yourself. Sometimes you're going to have to say no to friends, to family, to the people that you care about just to reset. And that's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be at everybody's beck and call. You can't say, I need a break. I need to reset. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you in some way, please subscribe and like and comment, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.